You know, talking about these charging stations, one of the big news items today is that Tesla has agreed with the administration that it will allow some of its rivals to use some charging stations, 3,500 of them. They'll get paid for that. Some will call that a public-private partnership. In the meantime, Tesla shares, you can see, are up in part because they got an upgrade this morning. This is one of those stocks, though, that a lot of people bailed on last year. Not my guest, though, my next guest. In fact, he never wavered. And now, looking a little bit like a genius. I want to bring in from the Fitz-Gerald Group, their principal, Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, I mean, you never blinked on Tesla and Shopify. I want to talk about both of them because they were in free fall. You came on the show. You said, no, you know, hang in there, buy the weakness. They're coming on like gangbusters right now. But how do you, as a professional investor, have that much conviction when everybody else is heading for the exits?
Well, there's two things that play in. First of all, thank you so much for remembering that, because this is a tough business and I could have had both of those things go against me. But it comes down to conviction, Charles. It comes down to knowing what the bigger picture is. That's where most people fail, especially when it comes to a company like Tesla or Shopify. They get caught up in the short-term gyrations that Wall Street wants you to, because that's how they separate the individual from their money. But if you step back, you look at what Tesla's doing. It's Apple with wheels. You look at what Shopify is doing. It's bringing retail to the masses and changing the entire nature of that business. Those companies have a long way to go. So take a deep breath, look at the big picture, calm down. All
right, I'm with you there, although I also will admit I've had a couple that have gone to zero. Okay. Hey,
we all have, right? I mean, we all have.
Yeah. Let's talk about Palantir for a minute, because it's another one that you pounded the table on. You liked it, came down a lot. It's on fire. I mean, it still has a ways to go toward some of the higher levels that you liked it. But would you be buying more of that here?
Well, I hope I'm smart enough to buy a whole lot more. The only fear I've got right now, Charles, is I might not have enough shares. This is arguably one of the toughest stocks any individual investor is ever going to encounter in their investing lifetimes. Yet, how many times have you and I heard people say, oh, I should have bought Amazon, I should have bought Apple, I should have bought these X, Y, and Z. This is your moment. Do not blow it. Special warfare uses it, government uses it, most of corporate America is using it. If they don't, they will. It's a company that is growing by leaps and bounds, and the fact that it has finally put the numbers up is the moment, if you're not in it already, that you ought to understand you better be.
I got to ask you about this market in general. It's full 95% of Wall Street. Now, of course, it's just February, things can change. But what do you make of just what's happened so far? It's completely off script.
Well, it is. But here's the thing, right, is many of the things that are happening off script are, in fact, sort of predictable if you recognize human psychology and behavioral finance as an input to your investing and trading process like I do. People say the market's not predictable. You know what? The markets may not be, but the human behavior that drives it is a predictable element in the chain. So I look at this right now, say when in doubt, you zoom out, you look at the companies that are making products and services we must have, like Tesla with its charging stations, like Lockheed Martin with its missiles, given the China situation, like Shopify, given the way retail is changing the face of our planet. Those are things we can't live without. So over time, Charles, the market has an upward bias. That's going to drive profits.
I got 30 seconds, but I've asked everyone else. I'll ask you. The most famous or biggest mistake in history, in your opinion?
Biggest mistake in history is underestimating that we're not going to make more big mistakes and recognizing those as an opportunity, not a threat.
All right. So far, I think you just leaped to the top of the leaderboard. Keith, thank you so much, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below, and of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.